big five factor theory. So here there are three important factors. Big five factor theory is having five factors of our personality. Okay, one is extraversion. Second is agreeableness. Third is consentaneous. Fourth is neuroticism. Fifth one is openness. These are the five personality factors. These factors also known as the big five factor or big five factor theory. Okay. First of all, we will just describe this. What are the main description of each factor? Like, for example, neuroticism. Neuroticism is the factor. It refers to the tendency to experience negative feelings such as fear, sadness, embarrassment, anger, guilt, and disgust. People high in neuroticism are emotionally disturbed, that is, imbalanced emotional. Okay, they'll react more without any reason. They will have some sort of emotional imbalance, emotional distress. So they respond emotionally to even a small event also, they will respond emotionally. Those other people, they won't, not even for small issue also, they will be in a position to respond. Immediately they'll respond emotionally. So these type of symptoms you can find in this neuroticism cases. Whereas in extraversion cases, extraversion refers, it is a just it is a part of external word. The extroverts are more sociable people. They easily will mingle with other people. Their emotional will be in a balanced state. First one is in this big five factor theory. First, these are the five factors of personality. First one is neuroticism. Neuroticism means emotionally disturbed persons. Like they will in anxiety, they will in depressed mood, sadness, disgust. For small incidents, for small institutions, for small environment, for small issues also, they will respond in a different way, emotional, they will disturb. That is one type of personality. It is known as the neurotistic type of personality, neuroticism. Second is extrovert. Extraversion. The people those are sociable, easily mingle with other people in the group, other members in the group is known as those people are known as this type of personality is known as extrovert people. Third one is the openness. This is the dimension, like in this openness people, they are creative people, sensitive. Okay, they are creative, they are sensitive, active imagination. Generally, the persons who are having this type of personality factor, they are one example they can give is that is poets. For example, their creative thinking will be more. So these are all the openness. Whatever they are there in their mind, easily they will interact with other people. They will share those emotions in a systematic way, proper way. It is those emotional expression is easily acceptable by other people in the group. That is openness, because they are open. Whatever they think, they can easily share. Whereas neuroticism people, they won't share it, because when they are in a when they want to share those feelings, they will be emotionally disturbed. That is the reason they are not in a position to share those emotions, express their emotions or feelings. Then the fourth one is agreeableness. Agreeableness people are those people. This is one type of personality trait in the people. So this agreeableness, they'll easily accept others. So like they're empathizing other people. They can easily accept others. Agreeableness. Agreeableness, they'll agree with others' beliefs. They'll agree with other belief system. They'll agree with other systems. Others, they'll easily accept others. That is one type of personality which is called agreeableness. Consentaneous means it individuals avoid trouble to achieve high levels of success. So in this type of personality, Conscientious people are, so they always be planned. They won't be in trouble at any cases, any situation. They will be more cautious. So they will have some plannings. The success rate of this type of people are more because they'll plan properly. They'll achieve those goals because proper plan they'll do. That is the reason they are more intellectual people. So number one is neuroticism. Number two is extrovert. Number three is openness. Number four is agreeableness. Number five is conscientious people. So here, how these, yeah,
Sir, please, sir, will you please repeat the last one, sir? Fifth one.
Conscientious, CON.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
So here, we are talking about the neuroticism and what are the main traits of neuroticism. Just we have described the each type of personality. Now, what are the main traits of each sector? Number one, neuroticism. In neuroticism, their anxiety will be high. Always they are in a angry or anger emotions. Depression. Number one is, as I mentioned, these neuroticism traits are emotionally imbalanced, emotionally more imbalanced type of personalities. So here, what are those emotions? Just highlight. One is anxiety. Second is anger. Number three is depression. Number four is always they are impulse. Whatever they wanted to tell, whatever they wanted to do at any cost, whether those activities are acceptable by other members in the group or not. They won't bother about those things. So this is nothing but impulsiveness. Then vulnerability. These are the some traits of these neuroticism people. The people those are having this neuroticism factor of personality. And here in this case of extrovert people, extroverts, their warmth, their relations always will be warm relation, cordial relation with others. Number two is assertiveness. They are assertive. Whatever they wanted to explain in an assertive manner, these type of personality people, they will explain in a systematic way, assertive people. Number three is activity. They are active in the society, like political leaders. For example, political leaders, you can say. Cine actors. They are sociable. They are easily mingle with others in the society, in the group. So number one is, I'm talking about the extrovert traits. First one is neurotistic. You can see it's an introvert. So second is extroverts. Extroverts are the more warm. Their trait is easily they'll mingle with other members in the society or in the group. They are sociable, assertiveness type of personalities. They are always active in the society. They are always active with the group of members. Then excitement. They always do. They wanted to do something to the society. They wanted to do something to the group of people. That is the reason they have some sort of excitement. Then always they have positive emotions. We know there are different type of emotions. Some are the negative emotions. Others are the positive emotion. In this case of neurotistic people, they are always having the negative type of, they'll have negative type of emotions. Their emotions are always negative. Like disgust, anxiety, depression, fear, anger, sadness. These are all the negative emotions related to the neurotistic type of personality. Whereas in extrovert type of personality, their emotions are the positive emotions, like joyfulness. Sociability means more. Enjoyment. Easily mingle with other members in the group. So this is the second type of personality trait, or you can say personality factor. Third one is the openness. The openness people are having some sort of trait. Their symptoms, the traits are fantasy. So they will always want to do something in the future course of fantasy. Like the best example of this openness or fantasy people are poets. Okay, aesthetics, then ideas, idealistic type of personality. Okay, So, and they always maintain some values in their life. I repeat, the traits of openness factor of personality. Number one is fantasy, means in an imagination, imaginary things. Number two is aesthetic type of personalities. Then they have their own belief systems or feelings, you can say. Next one is values. They maintain some type of values in the society. This is the third type of factor, third factor personality, that is known as the openness type of personality. Then agreeableness, acceptable people. They are always accepted by others. Same way, they will accept the others' belief systems, others' idealistic things, others, whatever they have, the other people also easily they will receive their emotions. So their traits are like trust. They'll have trust on others. The same way they'll trust about the other people in the society. Straightforwardness is the other trait of personality in this fourth factor. It is number one. I repeat, in this agreeableness people, they have the trustworthy. Number one. Number two is straightforwardness. Number three is modesty. Number four is mindfulness. Mindfulness. These are the some traits of openness. Sorry, agreeableness. Fifth one is consentaneous. Means these are the some factors, or you can say some traits of this personality factor. Number one is competent. They're always having proper planning. They are competent. Number two, ordered. So whatever their plans, whatever their activities, whatever their systems will be in a systematic way, in an orderly way. Third one is achievement. They always try to do some achievement, try to do something new. Okay, achievement will be more in this type of people, that is conscientious people. Then self-discipline is the other important trait of these people. Then always they will be in a systematic way, organized way, orderly way, and in a proper planning. These are all various personality factors of this individual's personality. These are known as the 5-factor personality system, or you can say 5-factor personality. Any doubt here? Actually, this topic is missed out yesterday. Now, our actual topic, we are in the discussion of personality assessment. It is a more, actually, you will see this course is two subdivisions, or you can say sub that is sub division of your total course of personality and assessment of personality. Assessment personality and assessment of personality. Hello. In the assessment of personality, we were discussing about the personality inventories. In this personality inventories, we already discussed some standardized percentages of the personality. In personality inventories, first one is questionnaire. Second is case study. Third is rating scales. Fourth is, actually only 3 has given in your book, but other one is interview. It all comes under the personality inventories. If you want to assess personality of any individual, there are some systems of personality assessment. There are some personality types or techniques of personality assessment. Number one is direct methods. Direct procedures of personality assessment. Some are the indirect methods of personality assessment. Direct methods means if you want to assess the personality of any individual, directly we will ask some questions. So this asking type of questions is nothing but questionnaires. Okay, so questionnaire is one personality inventory, which is known as the direct method of personality inventories. In questionnaires again, there are some types: open-ended questions, closed-ended questions. In questionnaires, two types of questionnaires. One is open-ended questions. Second is the closed-ended questionnaires. In open-ended questionnaires, when you are assessing the personality of any individual, based on the response, depending on the response of the others, based on the response of our client, based on the response of the individual. Open-ended means whatever the response they wanted to give, that is, they are free to give their responses. They are free to give their answers. That is known as open-ended question. There is no restrictions of giving responses. There is no restrictions of giving answers. That is the reason it is open-ended questionnaire. Number two is closed-ended questionnaire. In closed-ended questionnaires, their responses are restricted. And their answers are restricted answers. For example, yes or no type of answers. Right and wrong type of answers. So they are supposed to give answer. They are supposed to respond only in these two, either yes or no, or right or wrong. These are some type of examples of closed-ended questionnaires. When you are assessing the personality of any individual, so these are some sort of questionnaires we will ask, like closed-ended questionnaires and open-ended questionnaires. Okay. Number two, case study. Case study is the other important personality inventory. It is also direct method of personality assessment. So case study is one important type of personality inventory, which is, as I mentioned, it's a direct method of personality assessment. Here, case study means the depth study of the person. Case study means the deeper study of the client or the person, or any individual, or your client. For example, if any problem or issue, if you find in any student of some 8th class or 9th class, maybe intermediate quiz. So the example will be like that. So here, the student is, his performance or her performance up to the 8th class or 9th class is quite normal. So you'll have some sort of complaint from the teachers or the parents or the group or the peer group that student performance is not up to the mark in the recent days or recent months or weeks. That is for example, it is one complaint from the teachers or the parents. So this is the issue. If this type of case is come to you for counseling, I'm talking about the personality inventory, which is the direct way of assessing the personality of any person. So here in case of case study, it may be 18 years or 20 years child or student or any employee. So his adjustment in recent years with the other employees in the workplace is not up to the mark. It's not some abnormal type of behavior he is showing in the recent years, that is recent months, that is recent days. So if this type of case, if this type of issues, how to resolve these issues? So case study is that in detail, you need to check each and every area of that particular person. For example, so his personality, his physical aspects, or you can see his personal aspects, means how his or why his behavior is like this in this recent times. So in order to give some sort of solution, any type of psychological counseling or psychological solutions you want to give, first of all, that is our responsibility as a therapist, as a psychological counselor, as a psychological professional. Our main responsibility is not giving direct solutions. If you want to give the direct solutions, if you are eager to give tentative solutions, and you are not at all a psychological professional, tentative solutions are not possible in the psychological context. Please try to understand. You need to go, and we need to go in detailed study of the case. So that detailed study of case is nothing but the case study. Detailed study means his or her physical aspects or physiological aspects, you can say, like how his health or how her health in the recent times, the recent days, any health issues there. That is the reason those health issues are the some reasons of his abnormal behavior in these recent days or years. That is the reason we need to check his health, physical or health issues, number one. Number two, in case study, first one is the personality things, or you can say first one is the physical aspects. Number two is his or her family aspects. Any changes in their family in the recent days, and any change in the family environment in this period. For example, in some cases, maybe some disturbances of the family environment leads some type of personality, some type of abnormal behavior in the client or any individual. So that is the reason. First one is the person's personality aspect, or you can say physical aspect. Second is the family aspects. Number three is the workplace environment. You can check that workplace environment. See here in the case study, that in case study, as I mentioned, case study is a detailed study of the client to know what are the reasons of his or her behavior or abnormal behavior in the recent times. So various levels of study you need to check. So family environment, workplace environment, or any reasons of the other area of his personality or his life. So in case study, detailed study of the case, we need to check. That is the reason we are calling it as a case study. As I mentioned, we are discussing the personality inventories. In the personality inventories, number one is questionnaire. Number two is case study. Number three is rating scales. So this is also one type of direct assessment of the personality of any individual. Rating scales. In this rating scales, there are 3 types of rating scales, 5 types of rating scales, 7 types of rating scales, 9 types of rating scales, and so on. In rating scale, we will give some sort of statements. The client or the individual is supposed to respond to that statement. For example, one statement will be, just I'll give one example of the statement. Education is only the way to get financial stability. That is one statement. Education is only the way to reach a good position. That is another statement. So these are some examples. For this statement, the case, or you can say the client is supposed to, they need to respond to this statement. My statement or our statement will be like that. The education only gives the good status in the society. That is the statement. For this statement, they need to respond yes, no, neutral. So some clients may respond yes, only the education, through the education only we will go to the good position, we reach the comfortable position in the society. That is yes response. Some clients, some individual, they may respond no, that is not a that is not only through my statement will be like only through education, but they may not be respond to that positive way. They will respond no, only education is not the, that is not the tool to reach the good position. So some clients or some individuals, they'll respond in neutral. Why they'll respond neutral? They don't. They may tell, I don't have any idea about this. That is the reason. This is 3 points rating scale: yes, no, and neutral. So some statements will be given to the client to assess his personality. As I mentioned, it is a direct way of personality assessment. So these are the 3 types of ratings: 3-point rating scales and 5-point rating scales. If one example, if you give, through the war only, we will have some financial stability in the country. That may be one statement you can give. So for this statement, the client needs to respond. So you can give 5-point rating scales. Like first one is most agree, most disagree, or you can say strongly agree, agreeing, neutral, strongly not agreeing, strongly not agreeing. I repeat, for this statement of any one statement you can give, as I mentioned, there are 3-point rating scales, 5-point rating scales, 7-point rating scales, and so on. In the 3-point rating scales, I already mentioned yes, no, and neutral. Or other type of 3-point rating scales means wrong, right, neutral. This is one example of 3-point rating scales. And 5-point rating scale means agree, strongly agree, neutral, not agreeing, not strongly disagree. I repeat the 5-point scale again: agree, strongly agreeing, neutral, not, or you can say disagree, strongly disagree. This is 5-point scale. Same way 7-point, 8-point scale. So through these rating scales also, we can assess the personality in a direct manner. Actually, it's not given in your book. Interview also one type of personality inventories. In interview, there are again 2 types of interview. One is structured interview. Second is the unstructured interview. Structured interview also known as the planned interview. Okay. And another one is the unplanned. Structured, unstructured, planned, unplanned. In structured interview, what are the items? What are the items you wanted to ask? You wanted to have interview with the other person. It is planned, structured, based on the whatever the person you are going to, whoever the person we are going to interview. So first of all, you need to get the details of the particular person. So whatever the interview items, you need to prepare and we need to ask based on his profession, depend on his educational qualification, depends on his area of interest. So we already having proper details of the full details of the particular person. That is the reason our interview is totally depending on his profession, his education qualification, his position. So based on his details, we will prepare the items in the interview. This is structured, planned. So this is one type of interview. When we are taking the assessment of the personality of a person, so structured type of items, if you prepare, that is known as the structured interview. Unstructured, unplanned interview means we don't have any plan. We don't have any pre-plan of having interview with the person. Suddenly, all at sudden, you can get, if the time is permits, you can get the interview. You don't have any plan. That is the reason this type of interview is known as the unstructured interview or unplanned interview. In the personality inventories, these are the some types of inventories based on the personality. In all these four types of personality inventories, we are getting direct information from the client or the subject, you can say. But why these are known as the direct methods of personality inventories? What are the other methods of personality inventories? If the person is directly respond to the items, directly respond to the questions, directly respond to the case study, directly respond to the practice case, you can easily get the information from the client, and you can easily assess the personality of any individual. But in some cases, some individuals, they won't respond in a proper manner. Their response may be in a different way. Or in some issues of any individual, they don't want to respond directly because of their issues. Intentionally, wantedly, or unintentionally, their response to the counselor's questions, counselor assessment is not in a direct manner. In that cases, we have some other indirect methods. Why we are using these indirect methods? There are, I already told you, there are two reasons. One is they don't want to give the direct answers. Number one. Number two, their cognitive levels are not up to the mark because of their vulnerable condition, because of their psychological issues. They may not be in a position to give direct responses to our assessment items. items are called as failed. That is the reason indirect methods we will use in this case. These indirect methods also known as the projective techniques. Any doubts? Hello?
No, sir.
Okay. Any doubts in this personality inventories? Okay. Yeah.
Sir, what type of test we have to take for this? They who are not there, this abnormal behavior. Now,
Get
present
you, please.
normal we will take case study on this. They are not there. This last one, some cases are not responding.
Madam, please speak loudly because I am not getting it.
Sir, lastly you told no, sir. They are not responding properly cognitive behavior. They have their how do you have to take the test for predictive intervention?
Your question is that why they are not respond directly? No? That is your question. They are not.
Yes, they are not clearing.
See some type of what is confidential issues. Number one, intentionally they wanted to hide those things. That is the reason they won't respond directly. If
Okay, sir.
yeah, madam, yeah, please, yeah.
How we have to take the test for them?
How?
We have to take the test for them.
That means you mean to ask that how we will observe those things, how you judge it,
yes.
how you that is your no?
Yes.
Yeah, yes. So here only our psychological knowledge, the knowledge of our psychological principles we need to use. Okay. So here just again I'll explain. So here if you have that idea, if you have some doubt that client is not willing to share his emotions, the client, the subject, or the individual is not ready to interact you, and he is not in a he or she is not in a position to express their feelings, emotions, and their issues to the psychological professionals. If you feel, if you observe some sort of that is doubt, here there are two reasons again I'm telling. Intentional, maybe intentionally they may be in a they don't want to share those emotions intentionally. In some cases they want to maintain some sort of confidentiality, you can say, or if they don't want to share those things, their personal things, due to their emotional disturbances. Number one. Number two is wantedly, intentionally, they maybe in some cases they won't they'll hide the things, those things. That is one reason. Second reason is that their cognition is not up to the mark, madam. For example, if the schizophrenia case, OCD case, how can they share their emotions? It's not so easy, no, because their cognitive levels are so low, their intellectual levels are not up to the mark. In that particular situation only, please try to understand. Got it? I repeat. So intentionally, in some cases, they maybe hide the things. That is one It is one system, one way of hiding the things. That is the reason we need to go for the indirect method of assessment. Number one. Number two is that their cognitive or intellectual levels are not up to the mark because of their health condition, because of their psychological condition. Their mental health is not up to the mark. Clear?
Okay, sir.
Yes. So in that case, if you observe as a psychological professional, as a counselor, as a therapist, if you observe, it's not so easy to assess the personality of an individual through the direct measures like asking questions or interview or rating scales or case study. So we better to go for the other option. Other option is the indirect method of assessment, or you can say projective techniques. All projective techniques are the methods of indirect way of getting information from the client.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Then in this indirect methods, in the indirect method of this personal assessment, one is RIBT, Rorschach ink blot test. Number one. Number two is thematic appreciation test. Number three is sentence completion test. Number four is word association test. Okay. So these are all the some types of assessing the personality of individuals in indirect methods. Okay. The first one, Rorschach ink blot test. Rorschach ink blot test. Rorschach ink blot test, it is brief, we can say is the RIBT. Okay. So here in the Rorschach ink blot test is developed by Herman Rorschach, Herman Herman, Rorschach, Rorschach. It is the one type of projective test of personality assessment. Okay, so here some ink blots. Okay, ink blots are the cards consisting of some ink blots will be shown to the client or the person. Okay, so these cards, the number of cards are 10 here. So in this 10 cards, then we show to the client one by one. We need to show one by one. These cards will be shown to the client one by one. So here we will ask the client, what is the picture? Okay. So what your observation on the picture, on the card, or you can say. Okay. So the response of the client, the response of the person, each response of the person, you need to note down. We need to note down. We need to note each response of the person. In these responses, what is the location? First one is location. Location means the whole part of the card, the whole part of the picture, the whole part of the ink blot, whether they are focusing on the whole part, only on some part of the picture. These things we need to note. Okay. First one is location. Second is determinate. Determinate refers to the feature of the ink blot that it influences the individual's responses. First one is, as I mentioned, location. How the location, it is whole complete location they are focusing on, or only one part of the picture they are focusing. Number one is location. These are the key points of observation as a psychological counselor. And we need to note these points also. I repeat, in this ink blot test, there are 10 cards we need to show one by one. There are some important key points we need to know while you are doing the while you are administering the test. So first point is location. The score system includes a categorization of where the individual responses on the particular card. That is location. Number two is determinant. Determinant refers to the feature of the ink blot that influence individual responses. Okay. For example, how the color, how the movement. For example, some clients, they will say, so they are playing. In the picture, if they are playing, they can say they're playing, or they can say means some sort of colors, shading. So some individuals, based on the movement of the picture, you can say some pictures will be like in the movement. So the movement they maybe respond, they are playing. So that means movement. Their response is movement. So that also we need to know. Number three is content. What is the content they are respond? What are the content of the client? Again, I am repeating: location, determinant. Third is the content. These are the scoring key points while you are administering the Rorschach ink blot test. Number three is popular responses. Popular response means the response of the general public, whether their response is in the normal way or not. That is the popular response. Fourth one is the popular response. Fifth one is the spatial scores. Spatial means some clients, because of their low intellectual aspects, they won't be in a position to focus on the actual picture. Their focus will be only on the space between one picture to other picture, one part of the picture, another part. They'll focus only in the space, or you can say spatial part. Actual picture is different, but they are not in a position, they are not focusing on the actual picture in the card. They'll focus only in the space between one part, or a gap between one part to other part in the card. So that response is known as the spatial response, a spatial score. Then quantitative responses. Quantitative response means, so for example, they'll count it. Their count is not up to the mark. Actually, what are the numbers are there in the card? If the client is normal situation, they'll count it. But in the low intellectual aspects, or you can say any problem of their emotions, if the problem of their mental health, the scoring, or you can say the quantitative aspects also not up to the mark. So here quantitative. Then integrating scores. Integrating scores means integrating score variables. Whether they are the integrating, they are totally integrating the picture or not. Only some parts they'll focus. So these are the various points we need to note when we are administering this test. And you can ask one question here, whether you are having that doubt. So why we do this test? As I mentioned just now, before 10 minutes before, so some patients, some clients, directly they won't respond for the two reasons. One is intentionally they hide the things, but most of the cases they may not be in a position to respond in a direct way because of their mental health condition. As I mentioned, in schizophrenic cases, in psychosis cases, in some cases of OCD, even bipolar cases. Okay, so that is the reason we are administering this type of indirect method of assessment of personality. This is the first indirect method of personality, that is known as the Rorschach ink blot test, RIBT. Number 2 is the thematic apperception test. TAT. First one is the RIBT, second is the thematic apperception test. This thematic apperception test is developed by Murray and Morgan. MURR by Murray and Morgan. MORGAN. Murray and Morgan. The test name is thematic, THEMATIC, thematic apperception test, CEPT apperception test, TAT. This test is developed by Murray and Morgan, MURR by Murray and Morgan, MORGAN. In this test, 30 cards will be shown to the client or the individual. These 30 cards, as I mentioned in the previous RIBT, ink blots. But whereas in the TAT, some that is incidents, some type of situations, some type of these sceneries, they will show to the client. Here 30 cards will be shown. Whereas in the RIBT only 10 cards, here in the TAT 30 cards. For each card, they need to tell what is the main person in that card, in that situation, in that incident. And some activities may also show that some sort of actions in that picture. So those things they need to show. They need to tell our clients or our individuals. And one thing we'll ask, what is going on in the picture? And they'll respond. Some are quarreling. Okay, so that is one type of this response. Then in thematic apperception test, interpretation of the thematic apperception test will be, so what are their responses? How the response of the that is client. So some clients may be emotionally disturbed situation. That is the reason their perception of the particular card will be in a negative way. Their perception will be in a negative way because of their negative emotional status of mind. Okay, and finally, in each card or after completion of their test, we need to ask the client, what is the theme of this situation? So what is the, just you need to write some story by observing that card. So they will observe, they'll study the card, they'll perception, based on their perception, they'll tell some sort of responses. And finally, they need to tell theme of the particular picture, theme of the story. Thematic apperception test, by showing the cards of 30 numbering, each card, just they need to tell something, they need to respond to each card. What are the situation there? What are the incident there? What is the various circumstances there in the picture? The card, they'll respond. In that respond, we also ask who is the main person in the picture. What is going on in the picture? We tell about something about the picture. Tell something about the incident is going on in the picture, in the card. Who is the main person in the card? And you can say some cards will be like that. Some female and male will be there. What are they doing? What are they doing? Who is the main person? Who is the hero in this picture? Who is the other person in the picture? What are the other roles of the picture? The persons in the picture. These are all the questions we will ask. So finally, we will ask them, what is the theme of this story? That is the reason thematic apperception test. So here in this thematic apperception test, their emotions, their interpersonal relations with other members in the group, and their state of their mindset, any depressive symptoms of the client, any aggression, anxiety. These are all various factors of the personality or various traits of personality we will observe by studying of their response, by studying of the client's responses. This is the second type of projective test or projective techniques. This is also one type of indirect measure of assessment of a personality, of a person. Number 3 is sentence completion test. Sentence completion test. In the sentence completion test, they will give some sentences. These sentences are not full sentences. There are some blanks. There are some items of sentences which is not complete. So these sentences we will we will give to the client, and then we will ask them to complete the sentence. It's not the fill up the blanks, it's a completion of the sentence. This is nothing but sentence completion test, SCT, sentence completion test. This is also one type of how they are completing the sentence, the statement. Depends on their completion of statement. We will assess the personality of the individuals. Okay. And another one is word association test, WAT. In word association test, we will show, or we will give some words. We will read some words. Immediately by listening that word, they need to respond. The client is need to respond. So how the associating word of the client. For example, if I tell book, that is a word. Some list of words will be there in the test. So those list of words we will read immediately after the reading that, after listening that word, the client needs to respond to other word. So how the response of the client, what are the words or associated words to our words? Again, there is a assessment of the personality. We need to assess the personality of the client. That is word association test, WAT. I repeat, in sentence completion test, some sentence that is uncompleted is complete. Those uncompleted, or you can say these sentences, disoriented sentences, you can say disordered sentences, we will give to the client. So they need to complete the sentence. How the completion of the sentences based on the completion of the sentence on the client. We will assess the personality of the client. That is sentence completion test. Fourth one is the word association test. In word association test, we will read some words. The list of words will be given to the client. We will read those words. Immediately by listening that words, by hearing that words, they need to respond to the associating word. How they are associating word, how the words are responding from the, how the response of the client by listening, by hearing the words. Based on that, we will assess the personality. So here for each and every test, there is a